y'all hear me okay? All right. My name is Nithin Paul. I'm a primary care physician. I practice up in Woonsocket. This action, this whole movement, for me, it started 9-10 months ago. My colleagues, my community health workers, the case managers, everyone out there who has been fighting this fight does this because they believe that this is the right thing to do. Many of them have to work 3 jobs just to make ends meet. We are underpaying these frontline workers, and that is a sin. For 9 months, on their own time, they went to these meetings that the governor held or anything like that. They said exactly, step by step, what needs to be done to solve this crisis, to prevent anyone from freezing to death. For 9 months, our voices went unheard. In Woonsocket, we went every route that was given to us. All right, first meet here. Show us what you think about this. Show us the data. We did everything, and nothing happened. And so there came a point where we had to say enough was enough. This is not a victory. This right here is the beginning of a reconciliation. Those of us in the front lines, we have to reconcile how we can tell our patients when they're saying they're suicidal because they cannot bear the pain of living out in the streets every day. We have to figure out how to tell people when they're in excruciating pain. One of my patients has something called osteonecrosis, where the bone gets choked of blood and the bone starts crumbling inwards and it causes excruciating pain. And I want you to actually think about that. And then think about the fact that he had to stay out in the woods by himself for 9 months. Do you know what kind of trauma sets in that is almost impossible to undo for a long, long time? I saw him 3 days ago. He finally got shelter, but the damage was done. This is not a victory. This is the first step that came way too late. We did a little protest, those of us who could, in Woonsocket about 3 weeks ago, because we had to do something. We couldn't just stand by. And that's where I met Cynthia and Matt, and I started sharing my stories with Cynthia. And when she said that, hey, I think we gotta take this to the next level, there was no other choice. Over this past 16 days, I think every one of us who's been part of this has been changed from it. We experienced a fraction of what our unhoused brothers and sisters have had to experience for this past year, for past years on end, because this crisis has been going on for decades. And through this time, we started building our community. We started building what we started calling people power. And that's when things started happening. That's when we started taking the story back and started claiming where we need to be going with this. For 16 days, people came in the middle of the night to offer us tea, soup. We saw numbers grow bit by bit. When windstorms were snapping tents, people volunteered to come in and fix it for us. Our unhoused brothers and sisters, they don't have that same kind of level of support and resources. We barely could make it through the 16 days. Imagine what they've had to do for so many months. But the power of coming together has never been clearer to me. There is no question in my mind that it is this coming together of people of common Rhode Islanders of all different backgrounds and identities coming together to state that we as a people will not accept the fact that some people are okay to freeze to death. That is just not something we're going to stand for. We're going to reclaim our morality for our communities and our peoples. There's no doubt that actions need to be taken at multiple levels, because we went to the city and they said, well, other cities need to be doing something. The buck kept getting passed one by one by one. No one took ownership, and that's why we had to take it to the State House. So now what we're asking is, now that this first step, which is the bare minimum, has been done, what we need is real leadership. We need you all to come down, come speak with the service providers, and ask them what they need. Ask them, why is it that their workers have to work 3 jobs while working 50, 60 hours a week trying to tell people that they can't do anything so far because there are no shelter beds open. If we want to do this the right way, our leaders from atop have to come down to the ground, speak with the people, and actually try to figure out what do we need to actually end this housing crisis and find everyone safe and dignified shelter right now. This was not a victory. This is just the beginning. Thank you.
Right.